Rebecca Fenton, at the age of 39, encountered a man deemed her soulmate in 2005. Merely 3 months of acquaintance led them to tie the knot. Larry Fenton, a prosperous architect, was pulling in millions annually when their paths crossed. Rebecca, on the other hand, had no job at the time. Larry was nothing short of a doting husband, fulfilling her every request, from extravagant vacations to a grand abode worth £2 million, acquired solely for their mutual enjoyment. But on February 3, 2008, their ostensibly idyllic existence was tragically shattered.
Go ahead, call. What's going on?
My husband has been, it looks like shot or stabbed or something. Something's not moving. I don't know if he's even alive. The house is being ransacked. Please, hurry.
And we have offers coming today.
My life. My life. I can't live without this.
Rebecca stated that she had departed to her separate home gym, leaving Larry at home as the Super Bowl match was on. Yet, upon her return, she discovered her husband sprawled on the floor, submerged in his own blood. He had been shot 4 times, she mentioned. Her initial action was to verify his pulse, followed by scouring upstairs to confirm the perpetrator wasn't lurking within, only to realize that their whole dwelling had been thoroughly burglarized. Subsequently, she stepped outdoors to dial 911. Upon the police's arrival, they swiftly ushered her into an interrogation room for extended questioning.
So, but the more evidence, obviously, we can get, processing the scene, the better it will be, and the quicker it will be to capture who's done this.
Good.
Okay.
Do we have an idea? Anything? The neighbors? Did anybody?
The other officers are out there talking to the neighbors. They're doing canvassing, but they haven't gotten back to me yet. So there's more going on at the scene.
Right.
No, that's okay.
Something.
No.
Something.
Right. Well, once we're done talking, then I can report back to the scene, and then they can probably give me some more updated
But they
information.
took the lady, the
right now.
man that they told me that he's definitely gone, that he can't be brought back to life or nothing.
At this exact juncture, the investigators are handling her like a distressed casualty who has just endured the loss of her spouse.
In your relationship, there's no infidelity?
None.
Okay.
None. We are madly in love with each other. We're still on our honeymoon. And if you can question some other people, they'll tell you that.
With each question the investigators posed, it became increasingly clear to Rebecca that she was no longer perceived as the mourning spouse, and that the inquiry would be directed more towards her involvement.
We're thinking about this, and both of us are married, and we thought, well, if this happened to us, we don't think we would have left our spouse's side during that time. I mean, especially if we thought there was some hope that they were alive.
I got scared. I thought the best thing for me to do was to get out of the house.
What were you scared of at that time?
What had happened? Call the police, get people there as soon as possible.
But what I don't understand, though, is why you take the time to go upstairs. The danger upstairs, the unknown upstairs. Why would you put yourself in that situation?
So the person that ransacked the place probably killed him first, you think?
I'm sorry.
At this stage, the primary incriminating evidence against her comprised of: firstly, she claimed she had rolled him over and felt his neck for a pulse. However, this assertion was doubtful because if true, she ought to have been smeared with Larry's blood, which was not the situation. Secondly, she insisted that their residence was burgled, as the individuals who inflicted this upon her husband were thieves. Yet, after meticulous inspection, the detectives observed that no belongings had indeed been pilfered, not even the ornate jewelry scattered around the house, or Larry's cash-stuffed wallet. Objects weren't displaced from shelves, and drawers were opened to create the illusion that an outsider had done this. Lastly, her conduct was remarkably erratic. She alternated between sobbing uncontrollably one moment and, the next, engaging in jovial conversations with the police officers while still present at her spouse's homicide scene. This vividly suggested that she was putting on a show and her grief wasn't as profound as initially assumed.
Gun. Firearm.
We did own a gun.
Okay.
We bought one very, very recently.
Where did you guys keep it?
It was kept in our bedroom, in our armoire.
All right. When you were a girl growing up, did your family have guns? Were you ever around them? Anything like that?
I really can't remember. My father hunted bear and all of that. I don't remember being around a gun.
Okay.
I've never fired a gun.
Rebecca asserts that the firearm utilized to murder Larry was the very same weapon they both possessed. It was stored in their upstairs bedroom. This implies that Larry was gunned down by an acquaintance, someone he had the confidence in to be within his residence, because to access the bedroom, the intruders would have to circumvent the living room where Larry was engaged in watching television.
Going into a little bit of your personal relationship with him, how long were you all married?
We were married 3 years.
Okay.
You have a life insurance policy?
I think Larry does, yes.
For how much?
I don't know.
Who's a beneficiary?
I think I am because I'm his wife.
Furthermore, she possessed a compelling reason for the homicide. Should Larry cease to exist, Rebecca would inherit slightly above $1 million in life insurance. Investigators were persuaded of her culpability. However, they couldn't detain her as they lacked tangible evidence explicitly tying her to the offense. The case remained unsolved for a number of years until one day, an odd occurrence unfolded.
2 fires at the same house on Oconee Street in Clearwater, separated by less than 30 hours. That's why homeowner Rebecca Fenton says it's been an emotional few days.
Indescribable. I feel a little despondent. It can't be happening.
Her dwelling, worth £2 million, was reduced to ashes due to a mishap in the kitchen. Rebecca didn't acquire any insurance compensation owing to the ongoing investigation, and her sole avenue to procure funds was to set the house ablaze. This fueled the prevalent conjectures that she was indeed implicated in the homicide.
He was Larry. I'm not sure if this is an ending or if it's a beginning. You know, if the Lord is with us, who is against us?
Even though law enforcement had started accumulating evidence against Rebecca, it wasn't sufficient for the state to pursue prosecution. Ideally, they needed a confession or an eyewitness testimony to proceed. The pivotal turn in the case happened in 2014, when cold case investigator Mike Hasty was tasked to scrutinize the evidence and start identifying inconsistencies in Rebecca's narrative. A witness named Alfred Nolan emerged, who was an ex-boyfriend Rebecca hooked up with immediately after Larry's demise. He alleged that amidst the altercation, she had brandished a knife to his throat, declaring, "I'll kill you like I killed Larry." However, Alfred Nolan was not trustworthy due to a past record of deception towards the police, and he was imprisoned during the interview. Consequently, he had a reason to lie. He could utter anything to secure release or obtain a lesser sentence. His assertion needed corroboration, or it would be fundamentally worthless. Investigator Hasty confirmed Nolan's statements with Nolan's nephew and his nephew's partner, both of whom attested that Nolan had relayed the identical story to them 2 years earlier. Innovative technology for evaluating culpability or innocence during 911 calls had become accessible, enabling Detective Hasty to revisit the language Rebecca employed in her call, which he inferred indicated guilt.
911, I say emergency. My emergency is I think my husband's been shot. My house has been burglarized. I just walked in. I'm not getting a pulse on him. I just came in from the gym.
Now, when you came home, did you find anything in the house?
I was in the gym. We have a gym out back, and I was working out in the gym.
An innocent individual will endeavor to relate the tale to you. Conversely, a culpable person will strive to persuade you of that narrative. Rebecca mentioning her gym visit could be insignificant information to her if she arrived home to witness the gruesome sight of her husband lifeless on the floor. A person who wasn't at fault would be in absolute shock. They would endeavor to seek assistance as swiftly as feasible. However, Rebecca was more preoccupied with appearing blameless by providing the police with her alibi immediately to evade being viewed as a suspect. After half a dozen years, Rebecca was summoned to the same interview chamber.
Alright. That's for you. I don't know if you like Diet Dr. Pepper or not, but that's all we have in the fridge right now. 2 years ago, I started investigating an unresolved case.
Do you know what happened to Larry?
Do we know what happened? Listen, okay? I know your mind's going 100 miles an hour. Try to just listen, okay?
The case was sealed when Mike Hasty located the actual gun that was used to kill Larry. It was hidden in her bag in Larry's stolen car, along with some of his belongings. The gun had Rebecca's fingerprints on it.
2 years ago, I started investigating an unresolved case in Clearwater, and it's your husband. So I just want you to listen, okay? Okay.
I have a question.
I want you to listen. This
was found in my
this
car.
bag is right there. This is Larry's watch. This is the bracelet. This is a handgun, a revolver. This is a little key to a soft-sided gun case. And these are the keys to the Jeep.
You're not being honest with me.
I'm absolutely being honest. The first thing I said to you was that I'm going to be open and honest with you, and I just want you to listen. I know this is a lot. I know that I've had 2 years, and I know you've had now 10 minutes. Everything I am telling you, I have no, just listen, I have no benefit to lie.
I agree.
None.
I agree.
Everything I am telling you is the absolute truth. These are the contents of the bag.
I know that mine and Larry's relationship can be legitimized by talking to people that he had talked to days before, that we had encountered within days before. He just had a performance eval done. He had talked with Terry, talked about how happy he was, so there's a way to legitimize.
Okay.
But nobody knows what goes on into a private home. Larry and I did not have problems.
Okay.
And we're not having a bad day.
Out of all, now, as much as I don't understand any of this, especially this, I don't understand this. Don't comment. I'm just downloading this
Trust me,
case
the
file.
community destroyed me over that. I understand.
I'm showing you, okay? I wasn't there in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. I didn't pick these books up until 2012.
I want to talk to you, but at this point now I'm starting to feel like you guys are, like I'm being accused of this again, and I do want my attorney present, that's all. But I am saying this willing to cooperate. I do want to talk to you because the other two wouldn't talk to us. They wouldn't give me any information. I couldn't ask them any questions about Larry, and we were going to come in, but they wouldn't. So I'm grateful you've taken the investigation. I just want Dale sitting there as protection of me because I haven't been treated good through this whole thing, and to answer anything that I can. Okay. And I do want to work with you.
Okay.
I'm also having a tough time physically. I haven't seen these pictures in a long time. I'm having a hard time remembering a couple of things, and I'm just...
The jury required merely 2 hours to arrive at a decision. Rebecca was handed a life sentence in prison without the prospect of parole.
You look great, Rebecca. I've never seen you look happier. Funny thing is, I've been happy all along.